Imagine if the universe wasn't chaos. Imagine if beneath the randomness of daily life, every thought, every event, every moment, there was a hidden order. That's the promise of the Kybalion. At its core, this mysterious text claims that 7 principles, 7 laws, govern all of existence. Understand them, and you understand reality itself. Tonight, we'll break them down, simply, clearly, with examples you can actually grasp. Welcome to the 7 Hermetic Principles. 1. The Principle of Mentalism. The Kybalion begins with a bold claim: the all is mind, the universe is mental. What does that mean? It means that reality begins in thought. The universe itself, it says, is like a grand mental projection. Think about it: every invention, every creation, from a cathedral to a smartphone, first began in someone's mind. The Hermetic teaching takes that further: the entire cosmos began in the mind of the all. In simple terms, thought creates reality. 2. The Principle of Correspondence. You've probably heard the phrase, as above, so below. That's this principle. It means that patterns repeat across levels of reality. The structure of an atom mirrors the structure of a galaxy. The cycles of nature reflect the cycles of your own life. When you recognize these correspondences, you start to see hidden connections everywhere. The micro and the macro are reflections of one another. 3. The Principle of Vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Modern science agrees, at the smallest scale, matter is just energy vibrating at different frequencies. Hermeticism takes this beyond physics. Emotions, thoughts, even spiritual states are all vibrations. Anger vibrates differently than love. Despair differently than joy. Shift your vibration, and you shift your experience of life. 4. The Principle of Polarity. Everything has its pair of opposites. Hot and cold. Light and dark. Love and hate. But here's the key insight: they're not separate. They're extremes of the same thing. Hot and cold are just variations of temperature. Love and hate are degrees of emotion. When you see this, you realize transformation is possible. You can shift from one pole to another, like turning the dial of your inner state. 5. The Principle of Rhythm. Everything flows. Everything rises and falls. Like the tide of the ocean, or the swing of a pendulum. Your moods, your fortunes, your very life follows rhythms. There are seasons for growth, and seasons for rest. The Hermetic teaching says, don't fight the rhythm. Learn to ride it. Like a surfer reading the wave, mastery comes from knowing when to move, when to pause, when to let the cycle carry you. 6. The Principle of Cause and Effect. Nothing happens by chance. Every effect has a cause, and every cause produces an effect. To the untrained eye, events may seem random, but behind them is law, order, causation. Hermetic philosophy teaches you to move from being at the mercy of causes, to becoming a cause yourself. Instead of being pushed around by circumstance, you learn to initiate action, to plant the seeds of the effects you want. 7. The Principle of Gender. This isn't just about biology. The Kybalion says gender is universal. Everything has masculine and feminine principles. Masculine energy projects, acts, directs. Feminine energy receives, nurtures, creates. Both exist in you, in nature, in the cosmos. Creation itself requires their union. When you learn to balance these forces, within and around you, you harmonize with the creative power of the universe. Now, here's the truth: the Kybalion doesn't explain these laws like a textbook. It speaks in riddles, symbols, aphorisms. That's why so many readers get lost in the language, never really applying the teachings. That's why I found something that might help. It's a guide called The Kybalion Decoded: 7 Hermetic Laws for Mastering Reality. Think of it as a lantern, turning the cryptic sentences of the initiates into practical steps you can use. I'll leave a link in the description and the first comment. Not a sales pitch, just a quiet recommendation, from one seeker to another. Because sometimes, to grasp hidden wisdom, you need a key. So, to recap: mentalism, reality is mind. Correspondence, as above, so below. Vibration, everything moves. Polarity, opposites are the same. Rhythm, all flows in cycles. Cause and effect, nothing is random. Gender, creation requires duality. 7 principles. 7 ways to decode reality. The Kybalion says these are not theories. They are laws. They operate whether you know them or not, just like gravity. The only question is, will you use them? In our next episode, we'll explore where these principles came from, tracing the Hermetic lineage back to the most enigmatic text of all, the Emerald Tablet of Hermes Trismegistus. Until then, remember, knowledge is power, but hidden knowledge is transformation. Welcome to Occultus.